Welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. It's 8 a.m. Hour number 2 underway right here on Jocks. Tuesday, November 4th. Thanks for being with us. Listen online, jocksfm.com. Watch live on YouTube. Search Jocks945. You can always tune into the show that way. We'll talk a little more of the Auburn coaching search as the show continues. But now, he joins us each and every week. Voice of the Auburn Tigers. Thanks to our friends at Craneworks. It's Andy Bertram.
Lift it, load it, grade it, grind it, move it, haul it, rig it, dig it, Craneworks, Rentalworks, yeah! The big dog's got it.
The voice of the Auburn Tigers, Andy Bertram, on Mac and Cube in the morning is brought to you by Craneworks. Lifted, buy and rented, the big dog's got it. Now, Andy Bertram.
Andy, Stephen Pearl gets his win and his debut as the Auburn head basketball coach last night. For Auburn fans that weren't able to watch, what should the takeaway be for them?
Showed some poise down the stretch to as the game went to overtime on the 3 free throws that came with 0.5 seconds to go by Bethune-Cookman. I thought Auburn played better in the overtime period, outscored the Wildcats 14-9. Lots of room for improvement coming out of that game, especially from a defensive standpoint. Bethune-Cookman was 12 of 22 from 3, and Auburn's got to be better. Auburn just has to be a better defensive ball club than it was in last night's game. Good to get a win. Certainly not going to look away a win, but Auburn's got to get better, and it starts Thursday night when Auburn plays host to Merrimack at Neville Arena.
You referenced the 12 of 22. I was listening to you guys on the drive back. We had a soccer game last night. It was a late one, and it was like 40 minutes away. So I got to listen to quite a bit of it. And it sounded like they were just red hot. Was it more about them knocking down threes at a pretty remarkable rate all throughout the game? So they were good in the first half too. Or was it more about the defensive pressure that they were applying to the perimeter?
I thought it was a hot night for Bethune-Cookman, especially from 3. And you take a look, and Seneca Willoughby was 4 of 5. Jordan Johnson has great range, was 2 of 4. Arterio Morris hit a big 3 and then hit the 3 free throws, put the game into overtime. A little bit of both, probably. I think that the biggest thing from a defensive standpoint is Auburn gave up too many baskets in the paint. Auburn gave up 44 points in the paint against the Bethune-Cookman team that was not terribly big. Auburn will face bigger and more physical teams on the inside. It was a very good shooting night for Bethune-Cookman, especially from the perimeter. But I think what concerned Auburn most was the shooting on the inside and Auburn's improvement, defensive improvement that it needs on the inside from last night's game.
Andy Bertram joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline. Let's go over to football. Obviously, Auburn goes down to Kentucky. Hugh Freeze out. Did you go into that game thinking that Hugh Freeze was coaching for his job?
I did not. I really didn't. I thought Auburn had started some momentum against Arkansas the week before, and I thought Auburn was about to go on a win streak and take some momentum into this Saturday afternoon against Vanderbilt, and just the offense never got on track Saturday night, scoring just 3 points. And that was apparently the tipping point for John Cohen in making that. No, I did not think that was a game that would eventually be the last game that Hugh Freeze would coach at Auburn.
So what was your reaction to kind of the crowd? Do you think it was warranted to be as negative as it was, or you think it was reactionary? Like, how would you describe kind of the environment in the stadium? Cole tried to kind of sum it up, but from your vantage point, how did it feel as an Auburn man to hear it get that hostile?
You know what? I never like to hear that from the home crowd, regardless of what's happening on the field. I understand it. I understand the frustration. It's been building for a while, and it just came to a head in every regard from an offensive standpoint on Saturday night. It was just an offense that never consistently move the football, whether it was through the air, whether it was on the ground, regardless of the quarterback that was in there. It was similar to the Oklahoma game where Auburn, from an offensive line standpoint, just never gave the quarterback a lot of time to go through progressions and make a throw. It was not a good game for the offensive line on Saturday night, and perhaps that was the starting point for the Tigers. Listen, I mean, you guys have played, and I don't know if you heard that when you were a player. I don't think anyone wants to hear that, but I can't say as I was terribly surprised, especially coming out of the Arkansas game where Auburn had listen, and the Arkansas game wasn't an offensive gem by any stretch of the imagination. It took turnovers on 4 straight Arkansas drives in the fourth quarter for Auburn to secure that win. But I was surprised that Auburn just could not move the ball at all on Saturday night, and that I understand the frustration of the Auburn fans coming out of that ball game.
Andy Burcham joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline. He's with us each and every week thanks to Craneworks. What does Auburn get with DJ Durkin as the interim head coach?
Well, they keep their guy on the defensive side of the ball, and I think Auburn, he talked about it. John Cohen talked about it at their press conference. They talked about it last night on Tiger Talk. Both were with us courtside at Neville Arena before that game. Auburn gets a little more edge from its head coach right now, and a little more fire perhaps from its head coach right now. No massive changes on the offensive side of the ball, at least right now. Garrett Nix is the offensive coordinator. He will call the plays offensively for Auburn for these last 3 games of the regular season, and then perhaps the bowl game if Auburn gets to be eligible to that. We'll have to win 2 of the last 3 at least to do that. But it keeps the defense intact. It gives DJ Durkin a chance, and he's been in this spot before, not only as a head coach, but an interim head coach. So this is something that I wouldn't say he's familiar with, but at least he has been in this situation before. I think he certainly has the support of this staff, and he has, from all indications, he has support of this team for these final 3 ball games as DJ moves forward as Auburn's interim head coach.
Andy, with what's upcoming this week and knowing that Vandy is a tough out and they're probably going to play some inspired football, and knowing that they've kind of had Auburn's number, this offensive staff, for a while, how important is this game? I mean, what do you think the emotional state is for the team heading into this matchup?
Well, you're correct, I believe, Mac. Not a big surprise. This is a good Vanderbilt ball club, both offensively and defensively, and in particular, Diego Pavia has had Auburn's number with a win by New Mexico State 2 years ago at Jordan-Hare, and then bringing Vanderbilt in last year and getting that win. And this Vanderbilt ball club is much better this year than it was a year ago. This is a very important game for both teams. For Vanderbilt to keep any playoff hopes alive, they've got to win out, I would think. And they're trying to bounce back from a game where they made a run, as you saw, Mac, down in Austin last week, made a run at the end against Texas. So if there is a magical season for this Vanderbilt team get to the playoffs, they've got to get a win against Auburn this Saturday afternoon in Nashville. For Auburn, it's a kind of a new opportunity now. The coaching change that has been looming, the coaching change that has been rumored or desired by a lot of folks for a long, long time has finally taken place. And we saw, 3 years ago how that team responded to Carnell Williams becoming the interim head coach in that Texas A&M game at Jordan-Hare Stadium. And it's a little bit different now because Carnell was absolutely beloved in the Auburn family going in. But let's see if this gives Auburn a boost moving forward. And we'll just have to wait and see as it faces a really good offense with Diego Pavia and Eli Stowers and and Cedric Alexander and Mikayan Young, and a defense that is really good, especially at the linebacker spot with Patterson and Rinaldi and Longwell and C.J. Hurd at safety. So how does Auburn's offensive line respond? It was not very good this past Saturday night against Kentucky. Does it rebound? And at this point, I'm not sure which quarterback gets the start. That has not been determined. Asked DJ Durkin about that last night on Tiger Talk. He was asked about it at his press conference yesterday. I don't think that move has been made yet. Who will it be? Will it be Ashton Daniels? Will it be Jackson Arnold? Do you even contemplate the freshman Deuce Knight at this point? So we'll just have to wait and see. We'll see when that announcement is made this week as Auburn gets ready to go to Vanderbilt.
Andy Bertram with us on the Higginbotham Hotline. Is there anything you expect to be visibly different with Derek Nix calling the plays offensively, or just kind of how it will look, how it may operate?
That's a good question, Cole, and my guess is probably not. I don't think there's going to be a dramatic change in philosophy. I don't know if you can do that in this situation and do that this late in the season. This offense is what it is. It has shown signs of being very good from a running standpoint. The win against Baylor, Auburn has run the ball really well, except for last week against Kentucky, and that to me, that's the head scratcher, is that this team had run the ball so well all year long, and just nothing happened from an offensive standpoint. So to think that Auburn's going to come out and just be transformative from an offensive standpoint, I think is a little. I think that'd be a little naive to think that will happen. I think Auburn can be better and more consistent from an offensive standpoint. We'll just have to wait and see how it responds with Derek Nix calling those plays, and see how this team responds after a very, very tough loss against Kentucky last week.
Well, we appreciate you hopping on, Andy. It's always great to catch up. Enjoy the games this week, and we look forward to catching up with you next week. And always, you're brought to us by Craneworks.
And Wasteworks is a Craneworks company. It provides roll-off dumpster rentals in the Birmingham area with a range of sizes and fast service. They are your source for local dumpster rentals. Visit wasteworksusa.com. That's wasteworksusa.com for a quote. All right, I'm in Nashville. Where's everyone else?
Tuscaloosa for me.
I'll give you one guess.
Should be a good one. I don't know, Cole.
San Antonio.
He always says that. It's San Antonio.
It's Lexington.
Oh. Well, have fun both. You'll be home, Mac. Have fun in Lexington, Cole.
It will be a blast, Andy. Always great
Guys,
catching
you
up
have a
with
great
you.
one. I appreciate your time.
Thanks, Andy.
War Eagle, guys.
War Eagle. Andy Bertram joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline. Talking a little bit of Auburn. We will hear more from DJ Durkin and John Cohen from their press conference yesterday on the other side next here on Jocks. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Glad you're with us. JocksFM.com. Tell your home smart speaker to enable the Jock skill. Can always listen that way. 800-239-9569. You want to get in on DJ Durkin being named the interim head coach at Auburn. John Cohen yesterday, when he was announcing that was the move that was going to take place next for the Auburn football team.
All right, we're locked up. Give me a second. Sorry.
It's okay. What do you anticipate with DJ Durkin being the interim head coach?
I don't think much is going to change. I mean, what's going to change right now? I mean, the offensive play caller is different, but do they have a different identity? It's still going to be a team that runs through their defense. Maybe a little more run, a little more commitment to run. Perhaps, do you think DJ Durkin's a type that would maybe lean a little more into analytics from a fourth down standpoint? Like, how do you think he'll approach it?
Yeah, I think that, well, he's not going to not protect his defense.
Of course he is.
Playing good football all year. But I do think that finding a way, and I think DJ's input on this can be great, because one thing, if you watch the DJ scheme this year, he does a great job of dictating things from the offense on defense. That rarely happens. He can force an offense into a certain protection, a certain run play, and I'm not saying every single play, but a lot of times that takes place.
Yeah.
And I think what he could do is have some conversations with the offense of, hey, when you run counter successfully, you don't just have to run counter 2 more times.
No.
Here are some ways that you should attack me after I react to you having success with that play. And I think that possibly could be beneficial moving forward. But this was John Cohen on naming DJ Durkin the interim.
Yeah, I think DJ has done an incredible job with our defense. And it when you're at practice, when you watch him coach in-game, it's pretty evident that he does have an edge. He's somebody with incredible energy. He's somebody that the players, student athletes relate to. He's somebody who has strategic vision. Will he get consideration? Absolutely, he will get consideration. But I won't go any farther than that. I mean, I think DJ is definitely somebody who has earned that opportunity, but he will be part of a pool that we will consider.
For good reason, because he's there. He knows the locker room.
For sure.
He knows the landscape. He knows the people in the building. So it would be bad ball not to at least give him a look, Greg. And he's been a head coach before. I don't honestly know technically where some of those things lie behind the scenes of what has previously happened and if that might get in the way of certain things. But from the standpoint of what he's gotten the guys to do, the leadership that he has shown, it would make sense that you were going to have those conversations with him about that.
Tell me a job search that hasn't ever included the interim at all. I mean, they all include the interim to an extent. Will he get it? I don't know. It depends on how they play. If they run the table down the stretch, be a pretty good endorsement, right? So I wouldn't rule anything out at this point, but I like DJ Durkin, always have. I think he's a good coach. And I also think that his side of the ball is played with an attention to detail that you need to have in today's day and age in college football this year.
I wonder what the response from Auburn fans would be. And maybe that depends on, like you said, what the record is the rest of the way through.
For sure. Like, what would the response have been if Arkansas were to remove the interim tag from Bobby Petrino 4 weeks ago? Probably pretty good, right? But they've lost 4 in a row, and they're kind of leaking oil.
Probably not great now.
No, probably big difference. So I think a lot of it has to do with where you're at and how your team plays under your leadership.
Should we be concerned on some of these jobs? Florida, Arkansas, LSU. Auburn's still pretty new, so I don't think that you would be concerned about that one yet, but that we're not hearing clarity on names. There don't seem to be names sort of surfacing. Like, my understanding is that the Arkansas search has kind of hit a couple of bumps with guys they thought would have interest, maybe didn't. The names that I've heard there probably would be a little underwhelming for Arkansas fans right now. And I'm not saying they wouldn't be good hires as far as the guys who are potentially leading candidates there in Fayetteville. Should we be concerned about that? Should those fans of those schools be worried?
Yeah. I mean, I think right now the mindset of, I got to get to the SEC. I got to get to the SEC. That's my only chance to win. That's a foreign concept. That is an archaic mindset. Back in the day, that was your best path. That was your best path to profits. That was your best path to generational wealth. That was your best path to potentially put together a championship winning roster. It's no longer the case anymore. You don't have to leave SMU to go coach at Arkansas to get a leg up. You don't have to leave Arizona State to go coach at Arkansas to give yourself a great chance to get to the playoff. Like, that's archaic. Like, you're fine. Being the top job in your conference or among the top jobs in your conference, to me, far more beneficial. Power 4 jobs, of course. Far more beneficial than being a middle of the road program in a conference that has insane commitment to being successful. So it's not knocking the job at all, not knocking the job at Arkansas whatsoever. It's just simply acknowledging that it's a tougher job today to get guys to listen than prior to the 12-team playoff when these other conferences didn't have as much access.
It's intriguing to think about where some of these jobs are, what the candidates are, because on the other side, I want to ask a question of, would you, if you were an athletic director, and the question is, would you wait? Or maybe it should be, who would you wait for? Because tonight, McElroy is going to be on the college football playoff rankings reveal show. We have a whole new playoff, which means we have a whole new calendar, which means ADs have a whole new timeline. Should they wait? Would you wait? We'll ask that question next right here on Jocks. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Appreciate you guys tuning in.
Wouldn't that set off the metal detector?
Still a lot of college football to get to, but I wanted to ask this question because I thought it was intriguing. With where we are now in college football and the calendar that is now in place with the 12-team playoff, some of these coaching changes that are going to take place, some of these coaching hires are going to be guys that make the playoff. So I'm going to start this question very simply. Let's say you're Florida. Let's say you're LSU. One of your candidates, your main guy, the guy you think you can get. His representatives allude to you that he wants it and would take it. Do you wait?
I'd wait. It depends on the circumstances. Here's the thing. There's a lot of openings, and there's not as many super attractive candidates. Doesn't mean there's not a lot of guys that won't win. There's a lot of guys that can win. But as far as like winning the press conference, having everybody thrilled with their hire, there's not that many guys out there with a ton of skins on the wall that you can point to and say, all right, yeah, that guy's a home run. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm one of the candidates, if I were advising John Summerall, for example, I would say, dude, take your time. Like, let the Kiffin situation play itself out. And if Kiffin stays, great. If he leaves, great. Now you have another team that would probably be interested. You have like a handful of teams that ways, but the more teams that are involved, the more likely you are to get a huge amount of leverage and could lead to a bigger contract. So I think a big key, if I'm advising John Summerall, man, take your time. If I'm advising John Cohen, I'm saying go now. Lock it up today if you can lock it up.
Yep.
Because the more teams that get involved here, for example, like let's just say Ole Miss comes open. That's totally hypothetical. I'm not saying Lane's leaving. I'm just using this as a hypothetical. What's a more attractive job, Ole Miss or Auburn?
It's a fair debate right now because of what Lane has done.
Correct.
Historically, you're going to be able to sell Auburn.
For sure.
From a support perspective, what Ole Miss has put together recently, I think it's probably closer than a lot of people believe.
Well, Lane turned Auburn down for Ole Miss. So, like, there's something to be said for that. Doesn't mean that Ole Miss is better, but in the eyes of some, it might be viewed as such. I frankly don't really lean one direction or the other there. I think they're both pretty solid. But I wouldn't say that either is top 5 in the SEC right now.
Could you also argue that, let's just hypothetically keep this one going, and I'm not even putting those two against one another, but just in general, would there be some hesitancy from some candidates to say he's done things that only a guy named Vaught has done there?
Yeah. So harder to place.
They're going to be expecting me to just keep doing those things when the reality for a long time was you can't do those things?
Perhaps.
I bring that up, but I actually don't think people think that way. Not that are in these positions.
You mean the coaches?
Correct.
No, they don't care. I don't think they care about that. Like, I think they look
there's a guy tweeted me yesterday. He had like the next 2 Auburn football schedules.
Yeah.
And he said, how much of a detriment is this going to be for coaching candidates? The next 2 schedules.
Yep.
To which my response was, if you're scared of a schedule, you should probably get out of this business.
Yes.
Like just in general, just walk away. I don't think Kenny Dillingham, Lane Kiffin, Brian Harsin, Hugh Freeze even. No, I don't. Brian Kelly, I don't think any of them are scared of a schedule.
Nope.
It's just, they don't operate that way.
These are high achievers.
There might be one out west that is, but.
These are high achievers. Like, these are people that have been at the top of their profession. And people that are high achievers are not scared of challenge. They're just not. Like, tell me that I can't do something. All right, I'll show you. That's the way most super uber successful people are wired. I mean, it's just the truth. And people that fall short of that super, super high level are probably not wired that way. And that's why they fall short. But those that really, truly believe, they're going to go and move mountains, man. Like, they don't care. Oh, my gosh, that schedule's hard. I don't know if I should take the job. That's a weak loser's mentality. It is. And I think most coaches would acknowledge that, too. It's like, So what? Bring it on. Like, let's go. You don't take a job in the SEC hoping to have an easy path.
All right, so now that we are in full hypothetical mode, I would like to present you with this one. Because I do believe there'll be a day we get to hear that this will take place. You are athletic director at McElroy U. You are in the playoffs. You believe your team has a good chance to make a legitimate run in said playoffs. Coach Saber comes to you, head coach at McElroy U, and says, I'm going to get you through this. We're going to try to win us a championship together by putting our hand in the date. But I'm going back home after the season.
Keep status cold.
What do you do? You can sit there and say we've seen Dan Lanning, Kirby Smart, other coordinators do this, that. We haven't seen a head coach in the spot yet. What do you do if your head coach in a championship run tells you, I will not be here next year?
Well, help us win it before you leave. Anybody that says that they're insane, like, you know what? Let me paint an example. We're all familiar with The Last Dance, right?
Are you saying anybody who says they would tell them to kick rocks is insane?
Yeah, totally insane.
I'm on the fence. I don't know.
I get it. You're also insane.
Last
enough.
Dance.
Last Dance.
The hip-hop dancing movie, Julia Stiles.
That saved The Last Dance.
Oh, then no.
Comparable.
Okay.
Similar story.
Okay.
Yeah.
But they all said prior to the 1998 season, they said, hey, boys, this is the last one. Like, I mean, Rodman wants to go to Vegas. Jordan hates Pippen. Pippen hates Jordan. Phil wants to go, do peyote.
Whoa.
Do whatever, go
Dark retreat.
Go chill. Like, wants to take a deep breath. Wants to go chill. Go to the Zen. Go to Zen Garden. And so they all said going into the year, hey, it's the last one, boys. We're going to go for it. I would have the exact same mindset. Guess what? If I were a coach that was in the playoff prior to knowing I was leaving, you know exactly what I'm doing? Boys, we're going to go watch The Last Dance. All 6 episodes. We're going to cut it up. We're going to make it consumable. Watch it an hour. This is what we're doing. This is The Last Dance. So guess what? Next year, we're not worried about next year. I'm leaving. You might be leaving too. But we are going to all go together on this journey through the playoff and go make the memory. It's pretty dang simple. I don't see why that would be prohibitive at all. Like, guess what? I go win a championship, fine. The coach gets credit for that championship. He then takes said credit and that skin that he just put on the wall with him to his next destination. But get what also goes up in my stadium? A banner.
We get the banner.
I get a trophy. I could care less about next year. I am living in the moment. I want to win now. And this roster can. That's why we're here. That's why I got the next job, boys. Because y'all are good. And some of y'all might be coming with me. I don't know yet, but before we do, let's do something special together as The Last Dance. I literally just wrote the speech for him. Off the cuff. Take that, Meta or Gemini or AI bot or whatever. Is that not a smart way to approach it?
Chat GVM.
I think it is the reasonable way to approach it. And it's when we've talked about some of these coaching hires and fires, we were asked a question on the show, do some of these make sense, or some of these the right things, the wrong things to do? And my answer to that is emotions are often involved, and therefore they're not made with a level head. And I think there would probably be similar possibilities there, that there will be a lot of emotions involved in those decisions, and therefore probably not made with the clear thought that you just provided. It'd be hard for me to sit there and say, oh, yeah, man, all good. You're quitting on us, but go for it.
Not quitting
technically,
yet.
at the end of the year, you're not quitting. I mean, it's you finish the season, you finish the season. I would like to think that I would take that approach, but I don't know. I don't. Initially, when I thought of it, I was like, nah, get out of here. You got to go.
We live in
kind of because it could be more motivation for the team.
Perhaps, but we live a little bit more. But you think the team's going to have a focused mindset if the coach leaves and he's all of a sudden tampering with his old roster? Come on.
No.
Like, we live in a year-to-year world now. A year-to-year. I mean, every single team has a life of its own. Every single team. So you could tell me right now, well, the coach is quitting by going somewhere else, but not really because he hasn't yet finished the job for this year. This year.
You just accidentally gave all these redshirt kids a way out.
I did?
Yeah, don't do that.
I'm not at all. If you quit on your team in the midst of a championship run, what does that say about your character?
Fair.
Like, you're still there. Guess what? We'll worry about next year after this year. But right now, in the moment, we're going to go band together and we're going to go bust this thing. And we're going to win it. That would be the simple approach. It's very, very simple. Where you're going next year doesn't matter. What we're all doing next year doesn't matter. Let's band together for 3 more games, rally, and win a title. I mean, there's nothing more special than that. And guess what? Hopefully, you guys, doesn't matter where we all go from this point forward, we'll come back here in 30 years and we're going to celebrate this title. And they can hate me all they want, but guess what? They're going to love you. And in time, they're going to be appreciative of this next month that we have together.
John, flip the script. You're the AD. Greg's the head coach. What are you doing?
First off, I guess it depends on if Saber U is like Georgia Ole Miss or like Memphis Tulane. Because I think if I'm Memphis Tulane and I'm taking the gig, okay, fine, I kind of expected that. I still think we'll go with the last ride thing or last dance thing, but I kind of knew that.
Yeah, well, when those teams get run out of the gym by 30 in week 1 of the playoffs.
You don't know. I'm in the playoff. I've got a shot.
Mm-hmm. Just like Tulane had a shot against Ole Miss.
Just like
South Florida had a shot against Miami.
Michigan. Okay, it can happen.
It can happen, but
it probably won't.
Won't.
Thanks for believing in my university and stealing my coach. I do think I'm like you, Cole, in that initially I'd be like, okay, well, you don't want to be here. That's fine. I get that. Fully understand. But also, I may think that way, but also maybe like, well, hold on. Let's just this is January 20th's problem. That's not today. That's not now. We'll figure that out when it comes to that, because not only do you want to try and keep the team intact, and I don't want to let this seep into my mind, but the way this is kind of right now, don't forget the portal and everything, because if coach announces he's leaving 5 days later, all them kids, even though they're going for a title, could jump in the portal, and all of a sudden now you're dealing with that on top of the coach leaving.
Well, the portal doesn't open up till January now. You got time. And if you make it all the way, the portal will open up for you after the game. So,
but if the coach announces he's leaving 5 days later, the players can at least jump in, whatever. So either way, you're dealing with that distraction, and I'd prefer not to have to do that. So I think I'm like you, Cole. Initially, I'd been like, fine, there's the door. You know, if you want to work out and use the facilities, you can. Just not while my players are here. That's fine. We're going to win this without you. And now it's like, all right, just, you know what? We'll adjust this later, but right now let's go win this money.
I would hope that I would fall into Greg's camp by either myself or somebody having a conversation with me that, you know, think about the inherent value of this championship, regardless of if the head coach is here next year or not. Like Greg said, you're always going to have that banner. You're always going to be able to hang that. You're always going to be able to look back and say, 2020, whatever, we won a national championship. There's a ton of value that comes with that.
Tons.
How does that look to the next potential candidate that you can go get?
Better.
Much. You know, we just won a championship. So it's an interesting thought on where things are, how things look, and the calendar that we're now dealing with. We just haven't had a real conversation about that yet of what if someone does try to pull this? What if some of these schools are waiting? And then that brings me full circle back to, let's just say LSU and Florida, Greg. Like, how long can they afford to wait, realistically?
I mean, I think as soon as humanly possible. I don't know why you can't wait. Why can't you just get a deal done right now?
Can you wait till the second week of January?
No, that thing will be long gone by then. They'll be done.
So the reality of some of these schools waiting for these coaches in the postseason, you don't think that you would suggest, no, don't do that?
No, I think you can wait until January 2nd would be the absolute latest I would wait. That's now through the quarterfinals. There's only 4 coaches that will be impacted by that. January 2nd is the day. That's the day.
Got to have it done before then. We'll see. We'll give you some updates on some head coaching situations, where they are, some injury news around college football as well. All that and more next right here on Jocks. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Appreciate you tuning in. 800-239-9569, 800-239-WJOX. Hugh Freeze not the only one to go over the weekend. Mike Shula fired as the offensive coordinator at South Carolina. We mentioned that one yesterday. Rhett Lashley gets an 2-year extension at SMU. Also, Mike Loxley out at Maryland, Greg. We have not touched on that one just yet. Were you surprised that this one went down?
No. I think if you look at how he was performing, and the track record and how last year was kind of an implosion. And while they went to the bowl game a couple times, things looked pretty good there for a bit. It does feel a bit premature. That's my only thing. It just feels early. Like, why do you need to do it now? Especially this year when so many, I don't know, so many jobs are about to come open. Just feels early. But I was looking at this, like, I don't even feel like he got fired because there's discerning reports saying that he's not getting fired and that he was getting fired. So I don't know if he's fired or not, but either way, not great.
No, and 4-4 this year, 1-4 in the league. Not great for Maryland. And you mentioned last year, I think that was a little bit of a, how's this happening here situation for Maryland. But they will move on from Mike Locksley. Somebody probably going to get a really good offensive
Hang on,
coordinator.
by the way, it's saying Maryland is not parting ways with Mike Locksley and that it's a fake report.
So Maryland not parting ways with Mike Locksley.
So it's like, but either way, like a fake report that gets 2 million views on social media is still like kind of tough look. And honestly, it felt like they had made some progress. They got a young quarterback that's playing pretty good football. Like, just feels premature if they were to decide to do that at the end of the year. I mean, I have no idea like where it's all going to end up or what it means for Maryland down the road, but your quarterback's pretty good. And if he went there to play for Mike Locksley, like that's a pretty good guy to build around.
Man, I got that one in a group chat too, and those folks fell for it.
Everybody did. It sounds like
Wow.
2 million.
Got me. Okay.
Well, you see, I mean, they're all over the place. Like people writing stuff like makes 0 sense, and it kind of echoes what we're saying. Like to me, it feels way early. Like Locksley's done a pretty good job there, man. That's a tough job. It's a really tough job.
Some injury news around college football. Florida wide receiver Dallas Wilson going to be out for the year. So he won't go against Kentucky this weekend. That's going to be a tough one. Nebraska quarterback Dylan Raiola out for the year, broken fibula. That's tough for the Cornhuskers, who probably not where some people thought they were going to be. Not a miserable year by any stretch of the imagination. 6-3, 3-3 in the league, but it's going to be a little different moving ahead without their quarterback, GMAC.
Yeah, and kind of unfortunate, too, because after the loss this past weekend, they're pretty much out. But they were one of those teams that you felt like could maybe sneak into the conversation if they could have won last week and finished strong. They had 2 losses. They had a good win against Cincinnati. Like, there's some things that were working in their favor. But when I've watched Nebraska, they have not felt like a playoff football team. Like you just watch them against Michigan, for example, their offensive line is just getting absolutely mauled on both of the edges. They've had some injury challenges to the right side of their offensive line. It just, I don't know. Nebraska to me is kind of what they are. They're solid, but I don't know if I can see them elevating right now with their current personnel. They need more good players on both sides of the ball, and doesn't feel like their roster was quite ready to break through just yet.
Okay, so one other coaching move that I did want to get to. The NCAA has cleared a way for ex-Tennessee head coach Jeremy Pruitt to be hired at Jacksonville State. Jacksonville State submitted a proposal to add them to their staff as an analyst. And per CBSSports.com 3 days ago, this has actually now happened. So I guess I just need to start lining up who's reporting this every time we talk about something.
Help me understand this. How do you
per
feel?
ESPN 2 days ago, per On3 2 days ago.
How do you feel about, first of all, it's no secret that Jeremy Pruitt can coach. That's understandable. How do you feel about the show cause length that he was given, especially knowing where we're at right now in college football, where it's a complete free-for-all with what you want to do with players and money?
I would probably, first off, I would probably list it as egregious. And that's, we know how the NCAA's operated for a while, Greg. When they get someone, they're going to make an example of you. Because why? They haven't been able to get a whole lot of people.
Yes.
So when they get that opportunity, they're going to try to lay the hammer down. And some of these show causes have been just that.
Completely.
Look at us. Look what we can do. We finally got somebody, and we're dropping elbows.
Yes.
But I don't feel like there's a lot of people that are going to look around here and say, can't allow this to happen. Why is he still letting this take place? Can't do this. I don't feel like that's real. Shouldn't be. I think it's a good gift for Jacksonville State. Because like you said, guy can coach. Loves coaching, loves ball, loves the kids. Yeah, very relatable. I think it's a good guy to have on staff. So I don't have an issue with it. No issue with it from you?
No issue at all. I think they need to lift the show cause. I know he broke the rules. I get it. But the world has changed.
Very much so. Very much so. Yes. All right. When we come back, we will hear from Ryan Grubb, Alabama offensive coordinator. Had an interesting sit down with John Gruden. And went and spent the bye week there, G-Mac. Watched a lot of film, got to see some different things. First off, I just love the fact that you're going to other places to try to learn things, try to get new ideas, try to let people look at your stuff and maybe tell you what they think of it to push you in different directions, or maybe just to tell you to keep doing something. I love the fact that an offense that's having the success that Alabama's has multiple staff members going to do that in the bye week.
I think it's great. And I think when you look at where we're at in college football and getting information, learning more, absorbing all these things, I don't think you can ever stop trying to get better, ever stop trying to learn more, ever stop trying to have a feel and understanding all these other stuff. Like, I think it's great to be willing to do those things.
So I love the fact that Ryan Grubb went up there and did it. I love the fact that they went and sat down with him. We'll hear play Ryan Grubb on embracing the dominance in running the football after sitting down with John Gruden.
Well, I think it's each room. There's a message that has to happen. Just about getting excited about running the football. I think there's a piece there too for the coaching staff that it can't be the woe is me, like dog cussing them every time something doesn't work. It's got to be like, let's get excited about running the friggin' ball. Let's get excited about fixing some of the issues that we clearly are seeing on film, and let's go out there and flex on some people a little bit. And I think that the guys have kind of taken that mentality going into this game that we can run the ball and we can be effective doing it, not just like a subpar average team. We can run it well, and I'm looking for the guys to go out there and prove that.
Is that like an end of the season, last quarter of the season emphasis here, G-Mac, of trying to really being able to be a team that can impose your will here down the stretch?
Yeah, I think it's great. And just somehow find a way to have some explosiveness. Somehow find a way to create opportunities for big runs. And that's the one thing that's missing. Like, they can get you there 3, 4, 5 yards in a cloud of dust. Like, we've seen them do that. It's not challenging. But where are the 30-yard gains in the run game? Where are those gains that kind of flip the field and people are really scared of? Like right now, Alabama's run game, the safeties can be in a position where they look like they're defending the pass, and then boom, by the time they hand it to the ball carrier, those safeties can insert themselves and stop jam for a 6-yard gain. Like, there needs to be a situation where if those safeties are showing pass, you can gash them for 30. And I haven't seen that yet. So hopefully they can find that. And I don't know if that's with design. I don't know if that's with scheme or some gadgets, but they got to find that, I think, at some point to kind of break things open in the run game.
6 rushes of 20 yards or more this year for Alabama. 6. Put that in perspective. Missouri has 17. Texas A&M, 14. Arkansas has 23. Now, some of those will be quarterback, obviously. So that's a little bit different. You get explosive plays from him. Even a team that kind of grinds it out on you, like Vanderbilt, 17 runs of 20 yards or more this year. Alabama has 6. So trying to find some of those, G-Mac, I think, would be greatly beneficial. Oregon leads the nation, by the way, with 24 of those. Alabama will be tied for 104th in the nation with rushes of 20 yards or more. Wisconsin has 2. 2.
Dose. And guess what? That's not that surprising. But also, we have to remind ourselves.
2 runs of 20 yards or more is surprising. I don't care who you are.
Fair. But you watch Wisconsin, it's not that surprising. But when you look at it, not having the quarterback run game does factor in there. So you got to get it without +1 runs, and that's not easy to do. So finding creative ways to do that, maybe go to an NFL guy where +1 run has not been the big part of their game, makes sense.
All right, we'll talk some more coaches that are home next. Would they leave? Right after this on Jocks.